Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a flower garden. We're going to be kind of making it up as we go along. And it should be really fun, earthy colors, very, very easy. I'm going to try to keep it very simple, and you can kind of pick the flowers that you like best and the colors. So anyhow, it should be a lot of fun. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to be manning chat for us during the live show. So if you've got questions, you can ask those, and we'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Okay, so I created kind of a mashup of an artist called Odilon Redon. I'm not sure exactly if I'm pronouncing that right, but he was long past, and his flowers were really kind of abstracted, and he used pastels and oils. So we're going to kind of, obviously be using acrylics today to sort of recreate his style. And these were different bouquets, and I kind of just mashed them into like a long canvas. We're going to be using our Fredrix Pleinair mixed media board. There's a link down in the my Amazon store for an 8 by 16 inch canvas panel. So I couldn't find these on Amazon, but I'm sure you can get them at other retail stores. So if you are looking for this exact same board, but Fredrix is sponsoring our channel now, so they're sending us some canvases. They're not paying us anything, but we're getting free canvases, and we're really excited to be working with them because they're a great company, U.S. made stuff. And all right. What? Mark's laughing at me. I'm excited about canvas. Sorry. Yes. I know. Art supplies. Yes. It's like my favorite thing. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So I also printed out just a few real life photos of different flowers. And this is a really good thing for you to do, especially if you want to use different kinds of flowers than we're going to be using today. Find some like real life flowers, and really all we're going to be doing is looking at the outside shapes. So this one's got a really interesting kind of in and out shape. Just look at that outside border there, and then kind of squint your eyes and look and see where kind of the dark and light areas are. And that's really all we're going to kind of be focusing on, is sort of the shapes and Mark's squinting over there, and the basic values here. So each flower will have, like 2 to 3 colors that we'll probably be using on it, but they'll be very, very simplified. It's really actually very easy and a lot of fun once you kind of get going doing them, because you can kind of create your own little flower garden. That's what we're going to do today. So hopefully that's the plan, at least. So I wanted to do kind of earthy colors. So I'm going to use browns in the background, and I'm going to start out, I'll go over our palette here. I pretty much put out a rainbow of every color we could possibly want. Just in case, you never know. So we've got our earth tones over here. This is burnt umber, burnt sienna. This is a Indian yellow hue. It's actually kind of bright. It probably belongs over there, but yellow oxide. And then this one is unbleached titanium. This is titanium white, quinacridone magenta, cadmium red medium, cadmium red light, cadmium orange, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium yellow light, phthalo green, yellow shade, teal, phthalo blue, green shade. This is light ultramarine blue, and this that looks black is actually purple. This is Dioxazine Purple. And I don't have a black on here. We'll probably mix our own black, but you can put it out there if you prefer using that. So, and then a lot of these colors can be mixed by, like the teal can be mixed with phthalo blue and phthalo green plus white. The light ultramarine blue is just ultramarine blue plus white. So if you don't have these exact colors, just kind of use whatever you've got. This off-white color, this unbleached titanium, is also called Titan Buff in Golden's line. And then it's like titanium white plus a little bit of maybe yellow oxide and burnt umber, something like that. So if you don't have that, you can mix it yourself. And we're going to be using a variety of filberts and flats, maybe an angle and a round brush or two. So
I don't think people saw that sweet spin move you did with the brush there.
These are my brushes here.
Well, your brushes, but the one in your hand.
What did I do?
Well, you were pointing at all the paints with the one end, and then you kind of did like a little flippy thing in your hand.
I didn't.
Like a professional drummer or something.
Like, yeah. Woo. Okay.
Sorry.
I don't even realize I did that. All right, so I'm going to grab some, we're going to do this neutral background, so we're going to grab the Unbleached Titanium and some Burnt Umber. That's going to be kind of my main background color. And then we'll add some kind of grays and other colors to it to tint it so that it's not just brown. And I'm just going to start up here in the corner. And if you need to, you could spray your canvas down. This one's a little bit dry, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my spray bottle and just spritz it a couple times. And all that does is just kind of allow that paint to sort of absorb a little bit quicker into the canvas. You won't get as many little dry spots on it. This is the first time I'm using this board, so I'm really excited to try it out here. It's kind of a smoother surface, seems like. Grabbing a little bit more, and I'm not really worried about mixing them per se, like fully, you know, I want kind of some streaking happening. We want some sort of interesting things happening in our background, so don't smooth out all of your little lines and things like that that are happening as you paint. And I'm leaving this bottom kind of half or bottom third because we're going to add green down there, so we'll just do this top half with this brown. Maybe grab a little bit of this yellow oxide and add some of that. Pretty different color. So these kind of backgrounds are really fun. Now, you know, one of the things is, you know, if you're new to painting and you're not super comfortable with sort of, you know, this kind of freestyle painting, because this is definitely more kind of make it up as you go along type of painting. Yours are probably not going to look exactly like mine, so just kind of go into it knowing that, and embrace your own style that kind of comes out. That's one of the nice things about this style of painting, is that you can kind of, you know, express yourself, and your own style sort of emerges naturally. But that can be kind of scary and frustrating for some people if they're trying to get it to look exactly like mine. So I would just say let go of that that notion and just kind of try to have fun with it.
Let it go, let it go.
Exactly. I'm going to grab some, and I'm just grabbing a little bit of this paint on the corner of my brush here. I'm not trying to mix it in here. I'm always kind of like dipping in and pulling it to another spot on my palette, and that way I'm not muddying up all of my colors. I'm going to grab some Ultramarine Blue and some Phthalo green here. Make a earthy green, and I want to get a little bit darker, so I'm going to grab a little bit more of those two colors. That'll be good. And then we're going to go down in here and go nice and dark down here. So we've got some contrast for our lighter colors that are going to go on top in our flowers. And I'm just going to use it sort of at an angle in some parts and pull up through that wet paint. It's okay if it's dry, but my paint's still kind of wet up here, so it's going to create kind of these soft blendy effects, doing sort of somewhat grasses. It doesn't really have to be like blades of grass, but that's sort of the impression we're trying to go for. Get some really dark in a couple places. And really what we're going to be doing to create these earthy colors is every now and then we're going to be adding a little bit of brown, either the burnt umber or the burnt sienna, to our colors, and that will neutralize them a little bit and create a more neutral palette and more earthy colors, not quite so vivid. I'm running out of burnt umber. I'm just going to find a spot down here since that's all dirty up there. I'm probably going to need a lot of that.
So can we take the moment to say hi to everybody?
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Very glad to have you with us. Hope you, if you're new to our channel, that you'll subscribe and join us every Saturday. We do this live, 2 p.m. Central. And hopefully we'll be back to doing it Tuesday nights soon, too. So got a good diagnosis from my... Went to physical therapy this week. And
yeah, if somebody would take their rehab a little bit more seriously and relax their arm.
I know. I was picking stuff up I wasn't supposed to do. Mark was getting mad at me.
Yep.
I am doing my exercises, though. I'm trying to be a good patient.
Yep.
It's not easy.
So anyways, hey, thanks for joining us. Links down in the description to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Brush Guys.
Yes, if you want to grab these brushes, you get a 5% discount using brushguys.com and the code AngelaFineArt when you check out, and they give you 5% off. And they're already good prices, so it's a good deal. And I think if you spend over a certain amount, you also get free shipping. So.
Oh, I like it.
I know.
A list of all the description of all the paints and stuff also down below.
Yes.
All right, back to the show.
All these random hairs. I can tell the cats have been in my studio because I keep finding cat hairs on things. All right, let's see what we want to do. Let's do some phthalo blue and burnt umber here. That'll create kind of a, and really we're just, like I said before, just kind of creating these browns just kind of make our colors a little bit more earthy and more neutralized. So I'm going to add a little bit of that here in a couple places. Just a few really dark spots, maybe hidden back here in our grass, behind our flowers. There'll be some shadows underneath. And I'm using the edge of my brush and just kind of smooshing down to create some random kind of shapes. Let's maybe take some of these kind of tall. We'll do some smushies up high. A couple spots. Maybe like some, maybe we'll turn that into a flower later or something. Okay, good. All right, so I think that's good. I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush. And I'm going to start with, where's my chalk? There we go. Grab some chalk. Hopefully this is dry enough that we can... It's drying pretty quickly on this canvas, so that's nice. So I want to figure out kind of where we want to put our flowers. I really liked this kind of configuration of the poppies, having some really high and some lower down here, close together and kind of clumped up in these kind of longer shapes. I want to add in maybe some of these tall white flowers, but maybe not that much of them. I like these little ones hiding down in here, peek down real low, maybe a few daisies. I definitely like the snapdragons back here, maybe some of these red, I don't know, is that phlox? I'm not sure. And so I think I'm just going to kind of pull some of these flowers in and put them in different places. And when I'm doing this, I'm going to kind of be thinking about colors and shapes. So I'm going to want like a couple of really large, maybe one really large focal flower that'll be like our focal point, and probably going to put it like right here in the third somewhere. So if you split our canvas down in thirds this way and thirds this way, then we're talking like up in here or down here or somewhere in these four corners right here. So we're going to just pick one and let's put it down in here. Let's put a big old poppy right here. Okay, and then we'll put maybe a smaller one that's kind of coming up this way right here, and then a third one down in here, smaller. Okay, so varying the size and placement, but this is going to be like our main focal point. This will probably be like a red to draw the eye. And then we're going to just kind of fill in with maybe another flower shape. So let's do some of those white flowers maybe up in here. So these little bell flowers over the top of what we did over here, this spike. It'll look nice behind that red. And I'm not going to really sketch too much. I'm just going to kind of wing it here as we go along. So we may change this as we go, but let's do some of these kind of tall, they look like delphinium type of blue flowers. Let's do some of those going this way. So we'll make those delphiniums, and just kind of do small. They're a little bit smaller than these bigger tube-shaped flowers. These are kind of like long tubes, sort of bell shapes like that. And then these are going to be little smaller, like tufts of flower. Let's do 3 of those.
Okay.
And maybe one more over here.
If you trust,
or maybe let's do it back here over the top of that one. What?
I'm sorry, I was going to say, if you trust Elaine, she says the blue ones are lupines.
Lupines, okay. I trust her.
You trust her? Okay.
Yeah, she probably knows better.
All right, she looks trustworthy.
All right, and then let's do some kind of medium-sized flowers. So we've got our tall flowers here going on. We'll probably put some tall, like maybe leafy type grasses up through here. You know, we want to have some like greenery as well, not just flowers, to sort of fill in. Maybe do a tall one with kind of droopy leaves that's kind of going off the edge of the canvas. Let's see. Let's do something down here in the middle. So we'll do some smaller ones. Let's do some of those little, like maybe those baby pink ones that are all kind of clustered together. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those there. And then let's do some smaller kind of reddish or orangey flowers here. Maybe 3 there and maybe 1 over here to kind of balance it a little bit. Maybe let's do 2. So we do odd numbers. We have an even number of odds that like Mark likes me to say. He always makes fun of me for saying that. Okay, it's pink, orangey. Let's do some yellow somewhere. So let's do some kind of yellow sort of aster daisy type of flowers over here. And some of them are going to kind of be poking up like that. Maybe do one of them over here. I think maybe want to do, I don't know, we'll do something, maybe some yellow over here, like snapdragons or something coming up there. Let's do something right here. I definitely do want to have some open spots, so I might not use that space up. I might want to have it kind of dip low and then come back up and down. So I don't want to crowd it too much, but we do kind of want it to be sort of a jumble of colors and shapes. This is going to be kind of one of our more sort of wild garden type flowers, garden things. So let's do some sort of medium shaped ones here. Maybe another one down here. Maybe some. And now I'm just going to kind of look at my placement and see, and just make sure that I haven't like lined anything up too matchy-matchy. These are kind of all in a row, so I might move this one down a little bit closer, overlap it with that guy, and maybe have some smaller kind of spiky things down here. So I'm varying up the sizes because these are all like circular in here. So I think that's good. We'll maybe put a leaf or 2 down here low. Maybe one up here. Some stems. And our poppy shapes are kind of, if you look at them, they really are sort of a weird, almost like an oval, but they're, you know, sometimes they're sort of smushed flat. Sometimes if they're facing upward away from us, they have this sort of triangular shape. So we're going to do ours like this, and our center is going to be like right here. And this one's going to be kind of more facing us right there. Okay, I think that's going to be good. Let's just get paint, and it'll be easier to see as we go along once we start adding color to this. Maybe want to
You're not done yet?
change some things up.
Jeez.
No, no, no. So let's use our kind of medium filbert. This is the number 6 filbert, and I'm going to grab some water on it. Always using water unless we're dry brushing with like a stiff bristled hog hair. And I'm going to spray my palette because I can see it's getting a little dry, especially this time of year in the winter time in Arkansas, where we're at. It gets real dry in the studio, so I have to spray a little bit more often. Remember to do that or my paints get dry. And I'm always kind of pulling from one side. Sometimes skins will form on top of the paint, but if you keep one little area wet, you can still kind of pull out from underneath that skin that forms on there. All right, so let's work from the back forward. So we'll work on some of these lighter colored flowers. So I grabbed some yellow there, just a little tiny bit of it when I was talking about that. So that's on my brush, and we'll grab some of this white. And I'm just going to create these bellflowers. I'm just going to smush my brush down and kind of pull it down like that. Smush it, pull it down. And I've got it at an angle, so it's going to kind of create and I'm kind of letting the edges be a little bit fuzzy. Pull them out. Okay, and then let's add a little bit of Ultramarine Blue. It's got a little bit of that green in it too. That's okay. We'll add a little bit of that to one side of these.
I was getting a request to zoom in.
Do it.
So you're going to just slide it
Over.
to the side there when it zooms.
All right, there we go. All right, and then we'll add a little bit of, let's grab some teal, mix that in with that color, maybe a little bit of burnt sienna to tone it down. Remember, we're kind of trying to go more earthy with these. It'll kind of make it more of like a sage green. And I'm just going to use the tip of it to dab in. You can switch to a smaller brush if you want to. Maybe create some very small lines in there. All right, so I'm going to leave that for now. Let's do a little bit of this color, this green color, and I will switch to a round brush because I think it'll be easier to control it. Get this teal with a little bit of burnt sienna in it.
Around what?
Round number 2. And I'm going to dab in to create my spiky flower here, and maybe do very thin little stem thing. Just using the very tip of it.
The Latin name is Spikius flowers.
Spikiest flowers.
Yeah, for the
Yellow oxide here with the green, phthalo green.
for the botany people out there. Botanist. I think it's botanist.
If they need, yeah, if they need the technical term. Mark's here for you. All right, so I'm going to create 2 versions of this color, a little bit darker version with the burnt sienna and phthalo green, and then this one was phthalo green with yellow oxide. So we'll do some of this in some of these spots right here. Oops, I'm going down too low.
Hey, you were going off screen there.
Yeah, I was. Thanks for letting me know there.
Hey, no problem.
Appreciate it.
I'm your technical advisor.
Right.
Support
team. All right. create some sort of leafy shapes. A little bit more circular type. As it gets down to the bottom, a lot of times these spiky type flowers will widen out a little bit. Not always, but so I usually kind of go a little bit wider as they come down towards the bottom. Grab a little bit of white and add some really bright highlights to some of these. Just touching the tip. Not really worried too much about exactly what I'm painting here yet. I'm just kind of trying to sort of looking at some of these shapes, and you know, looking in between here and seeing, you know, there's all these kind of like interesting little light and dark areas in here, but you're not really seeing any like in particular leaves or anything like that. So that's what I'm kind of trying to create here. I'm just kind of trying to create like a background for once we put these colors on top, that'll have something to settle down into, if that makes sense. So same with the snapdragons. If you look at those, you know, they're kind of a tall, spiky, but they have, you know, a lot of this kind of greenery all sort of in the middle. A lot of the flower is actually green stem, you know. So I want to pull some like more defined little things down into these ones here. I feel like they're not quite doing it for me yet. So there we go. And these are not going to look like some of our other paintings where we've done them super realistic like. The whole idea behind his, you know, his style is very, very impressionistic, very kind of, you know, blendy. It kind of looks like you're looking at it through a fog or filter almost. So that's sort of what we're trying to go for, at least sort of that idea. I don't know. We'll see if we can get it close.
I wonder if he just needed glasses.
could be.
And he just painted what he saw, and that's what it was.
And that's what it looked like. It could be.
And now we're like, oh, wow, that's very...
Well, I should probably take my glasses off then. I'd probably do a better job at this.
Yeah, give it a try. I dare you.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm going to grab the Phthalo blue here. And just a little bit of that burnt sienna. And we've used this color a lot of times before. It's a really pretty kind of teal. I'm going to go a little bit more blue this time, though. And I think I'm just going to use this down in here to get some like real dark little areas. Am I off camera? No. No paying attention.
I'm not watching.
Okay. What do I pay you for? Oh, wait, I don't.
You get what you pay for.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Let's do some of this over here. I'm liking that darker sort of. All right, then let's grab some white. Create a lighter version of that. And each one of these, we're going to kind of do that. It's going to be kind of a pattern. So we're going to do the dark, and then we'll either do a lighter version of that, or we'll do another color on top that's lighter. You know, kind of pull some highlights in over the top. So and we may even do a third color on some of these. You know, third value. Light, medium, dark, instead of just light and dark. And I am going to kind of go a little bit over my sketched flowers. We can always go over the top, you know, so I'm just kind of trying to think about what this is going to look like once we get our other flowers on top and make sure I've got enough going on behind it, because it's kind of going to be easier to do this now than to try to paint around something later. All right, let's grab some purple. And we'll add purple and phthalo green. It's a really fun color to use for greenery. It gives it a really beautiful, rich, deep green. And that purple just makes it such a lovely tone. I don't know. I really like this color. And this makes a great black too. So we'll put some of this behind here. Maybe do some of our stems with this color. And I'm not doing solid stems. I'm just kind of doing little dabs. Maybe put some little leaf type shapes in here behind some of these flowers that we're going to do later. Maybe add some of it up in here. Let's do some back in here. Sorry, I'm whispering. You can tell when I'm getting into it because I start whispering. I'm like, colors. Sorry. I get comments about that all the time. So sorry, folks. Who that bothers, because we'll probably get comments about this.
We'll give refunds to everybody.
Yeah, we'll give them refunds for
200%.
200% off.
Yep.
Of the $0 that they paid.
Yep.
Okay. Check. Sounds like a deal. All right. Just put a few random stems in. Not all these are going to have stems because some of them are, just going to be buried in the greenery. You don't see all of the stems, like for these flowers, you're not really seeing stems. You might see like one here, but this one's buried. You don't see these stems at all anywhere. So you don't feel like you have to have stems for everything to make it work.
So about how difficult would you rate this painting?
I mean, it's dabs and dots. So as long as you're kind of embracing it and get into it, I don't think there's really any right or wrong way of doing this kind of painting. You're really, in charge of it. So I definitely think it's an easier, type painting, I hope. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be particularly difficult. Let's put in some leaves here. And really all these shapes are supposed to be kind of random and abstracted too. So which means, you don't really need to have a lot of drawing skills for it either. You can just kind of let your creativity sort of happen. And
oh, you're on camera, don't worry.
Okay.
I got you zoomed all the way out.
All right,
almost,
thanks.
so.
All right. Just doing a lighter version, white, adding a little bit of white to that purple green mixture there for these leaves here. Let's add a little bit of it to our couple of stems that we put in here. Maybe do another leaf back in here. Just a suggestion of one. Okay. So it's good to kind of repeat patterns. Oh, I think there was a leaf right here too. We might do one right there. So if you use, one's over here, it's good to kind of put some over in another spot too. Sometimes that'll help unify your painting. You don't want to do too matchy-matchy, but a little bit is always good. All right, I think that's good. We'll start on some of these flowers. I think I'm going to stick with this brush and do some of these asters down here or daisies or whatever these are down here. I think we said we were going to do yellow. So I'm going to grab that Cad Yellow Medium. Pull a little bit out. I can tell these are getting dry, so I'm going to spray it one more time. And I'm going to grab some of this yellow, Indian Yellow Hue. It's a little bit more earthy, orangey yellow. I think I like that. And we'll just kind of pull from the outside in and create some little shapes here. And if we wanted to look at these kind of ones, these are kind of those, I don't know what they're called, but Coreopsis maybe? I'm not sure. Somebody will know. They're real spiky. We could do something more along this line here, or do a, there's some other poppies here. Let me see. I thought I had some daisies. Oh, yeah, so we could look at the daisies if we wanted to do daisies. See how you're not really seeing them all fully on. Some of these petals are really, really small. Some of them are longer. So look at the outside shape and kind of look at where, where these, like I said, kind of squint your eyes maybe, just to kind of see, so you don't have to have them all, just perfectly facing you, perfectly round. I'm just going to do kind of some yellow daisy-like flowers. We're starting with the darker colors. We'll add lighter colors on top, but it's going to be our foundation. Let me grab some of the more of this yellow, Indian yellow. The Indian yellow is very transparent, so you may have to add a little white to it to get it to show up if your background's too dark. So I'll grab a little bit of white there. There, you notice? Okay.
Now, is it okay that you have an even number of dabs?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
I think so.
I just want to make sure we don't violate any rules.
Some of this Cadmium Red Light, Cadmium Red Light, and add that to the middle here. It's kind of mixed with the yellow a little bit, so it's maybe add a little bit of burnt sienna too to give it a deeper shadow. Just a few little dabs. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, it's kind of unfinished. There's a lot of brush strokes showing. That's what we want. Maybe add a little bit of this color down here. Okay. And I feel like I want to use this color over here somewhere. So let's just do some yellow, random yellow, something up in here. We'll just do some yellow, orangey flowers sort of peeking out over this way. Whoop, I'm off the camera. A few little dabs. These flowers are very unformed. They're not... And go right over the top of some of your other flowers. So as we add more layers, we're going to stack, and that'll push those back layers farther in the distance and bring our other colors forward. So, all right, we'll probably go back and add more of this color, but we want to keep working. I'm liking it so far. It's coming along pretty well. Well. All right, let's use some of that purple and light ultramarine blue. And we'll do these flowers over here that we were going to do, the spike. She told me what they were, and I can't remember again. These are going to be like a cluster of little dots. So once you zoom in a little bit more, hon.
Do you promise to stay on camera?
I don't, but I'll do my best. So they're kind of like these little wispy flowers that sort of grow along this stalk. So you're just leaving little gaps and creating these little cluster flower type things that are sort of pointing towards the center. So these ones are kind of coming in this way. This one's sort of straight up and down, and then the ones that are on this side are sort of pointing in this way. So as I'm going down the flower, I'm changing the direction so that they're always sort of pointing out. I like that color. Let's use it somewhere else. I think we were going to use it up here. No, this was going to be the snapdragon. Let's use it. We didn't put a foundation for it, but I really want to use it again. So let's do it right in here, maybe. Yeah, let's do it low. We'll do something right in here. We don't have the foundation for it, so we may have to add a little bit of that darker green back in. But I really like this color, and I think it'll be pretty against that red. So do it like that. No, I'm not. I just moved it up. I'm not. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of this dark green in between, just a little bit. And then let's go back to this. Now we have our flowers in here, and just make sure that they kind of make sense and that we have things connecting them to the center. All right. Oops, I was off there too, wasn't I? Maybe not.
I'm not watching it, so
Okay.
I have no idea. You said
Well, I
that
can't
you're
see the
gonna
whole
be on.
screen the way it's at right
Well,
now, so
that's not my fault.
I know. All right, grabbing some white. And
All right, I'll start
mixing
watching the
that in
video.
with that light ultramarine blue to create a lighter version of this color. And then we're going to just tap in just a few little highlights just on long. And I'm really just using the very tip of my brush, very light pressure. Just think about where the flowers might be poking out the most. We're not doing it kind of in the centers because that'll be darker, right? We're trying to get the tips of the flowers. So I'm just going to kind of go along the outside edges of those shapes that we've already put in and just kind of add a little bit of color, a little bit of highlight. And then I can grab that purple and mixing it with that color that's on my brush already, and I'm going to go in and darken up. It's going to be dark enough that you can see it, but it doesn't, I don't want to overwhelm it. There we go. We'll just add a little bit of that to some of these. Okay. Not all of them are going to have like the center showing, so we'll just sort of pick the few of the most prominent ones. Add a little bit of dark center to them. See, I'm really liking this. It's fun. I don't do this type of painting very often, but I really like it when I do because it's very freeing. It's like, I don't know, it's just not as stifling. It's not as rigid, you can really play and experiment a little bit more. So it's really fun. And this is a little bit of just the purple and white here. So let's add some of that. That was white and purple. And let's do some little something down here with that. Maybe back behind this flower down here. Just some little small something. Sort of carpet this area with just a few little purpley something. Grab some of that darker color and okay. We'll just leave that for now. See if we can add stuff later if we want to. Might add. Grab some of this teal. Maybe add just a tiny bit of the yellow oxide to tone it down. Neutralize it a little bit. Be pretty. And I want to add that. Let's add it. Let me add some small little leaf shapes around this. Some little grass-like things sticking out around us. Okay. All right. Sorry, is that loud? I'm sorry. My throat's a little bit tight today. I'll warn you next time. You can mute me. Okay, so let's get some of these pink flowers. I'm going to get my smaller filbert. This is the number 4 filbert. And I'm going to clean out these brushes as well as I can and kind of set them out to the side, but I'm not going to leave them in my water. They're wet though, and they're not clean yet, so I don't want them to dry out completely. So every now and then I'm going to dip them back in my water to keep them wet while I work, but I don't want them to crack, so I'm not going to leave them in my water while I'm working. I'm trying to get better about that. All right, so I'm going to scoop up some of this white here and plop it down over here, and we're going to use this Quinacridone Magenta, and ooh, that's pretty. Just a tiny bit of the yellow oxide. It's going to tone it down. Remember, these are kind of our neutrals over here that we can add to our colors to tone them down, make them a little bit more earthier. I'm going to use this to create my little, what are these? Begonia, maybe? I'm not sure.
Flowers, pinkiest.
Pinkiest flowers?
No, that one is flowers, pinkiest.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's very important, the order in which you say it.
Okay. All right, let's grab a little bit of that dark quinacridone. I'm going to tap that in, just using the edge of, like the corner, just sort of tap that. It's too bright, so I'm going to add a little bit of that burnt sienna to it. But I'm not really pressing down because I just want them to kind of gently mix on the tip of the brush. I don't want it to mix in too much. There we go. Add those. Let's do, I feel like I want these to be pink over here maybe. I said I was going to do orange, but we'll maybe add a little bit of this red to it. Cadmium red. Maybe that'll be like a zinnia or something. You know, they have those like multiple little bit of all those colors. Cadmium red, Quinacridone Magenta, and a tiny bit of the burnt sienna just to tone it down. There we go. So I'm gonna go back in and create a little bit of contrast right there. And then there we go. Okay, and the zinnia have these. We're doing something like this. So the zinnias have these kind of yellowish things in the middle. So we'll grab some of that yellow, maybe yellow oxide, and dab some of that in. Let's grab that cadmium yellow light. And it's kind of mixing a little bit with what's on my brush, so it's not solid cadmium yellow. I'm just barely touching it down to get a little bit of that color on. There we go. That's pretty. Let's maybe do that over here. I know I clean that all out of my brush. Let's do a little bit more of that pink. Salmon pink kind of color. Make some more zinnias over here. I really like that color. I'm going to bring it up over the top of that a little bit. the darker in the center. Maybe grab a little bit of that lighter color, tap in just along some of those edges. Using that corner edge of my brush just to kind of create these small little brush strokes. Just tapping, pulling a little bit towards the center and lifting. Not really doing a whole lot. Might. Let's do some of these. I don't know. I want some of them there. We'll figure it out. It'll be easier to tell kind of where we want to add some of these kind of accent contrasting colors once we get more of our foundation flowers in, you know, more of our like larger flowers, and then we'll be able to tell where we might want to add just a tiny bit of something here and there, you know, to brighten it up or draw the eye around the canvas. So we'll just kind of tap in a little bit of that lighter color in the center there. I'm liking it. These now need a little highlight on them, so I'm going to grab that white portion that was mixed in right there and pull in some highlights along that edge. And then maybe do a few little buds too. You know, they don't have just the full flowers always. There's some buds usually kind of opening up.
When would that happen?
Huh?
I said, when would that happen?
When would what happen?
When you would just have like buds not opened up.
In the spring?
Or in your Valentine's flowers.
Oh. They came from Valentine's and they were all closed up.
Just saying.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the online flower company that shall not be named did not did not do the best job. It's not Mark's fault. It's my fault for I sent him the link. I was like, here, get that. And he did. And the lavender roses were red. And the rest of the flowers were all closed up, so they got a complaint. We got another bouquet out of it, so there you go. That's what you get for ordering your flowers online. That's all I'm saying. Okay, grabbing a little bit of that yellow. There's just a tiny bit of yellow in each one of these centers. So, just like that. Okay, let's add a little bit of this brighter color. Some of these zinnia. Maybe a little bit on this. I don't even know what these flowers are, but we're having fun. That's all that matters.
So, what's your verdict so far on your new canvas?
I like it. Yeah, it's nice and smooth. I'm enjoying it. I use that unbleached titanium to mix with this cadmium yellow light, just to tone it down just a little bit. And we'll use that on these daisy flowers to put a second layer, brighten them up a little bit. Don't cover up all of what you've got going on underneath already. So this is a bigger brush than what we were using before, so you may have to switch to that smaller brush again if you can't get the petals small enough for your taste. And just setting it down and kind of smushing it, pulling it towards the center and lifting. That's the brush stroke that
Oh, you went to side cam, all right.
all right. Nice. Okay, that's good. Really probably ought to have one just kind of going right off the canvas down here. Just to kind of make it obvious that we're only seeing part of the scene, you know. Grab some of that orangey color. Maybe that one that doesn't even have the center showing. And then grab that lighter yellow. What are you laughing at?
Chat. Ooh. I was laughing at chat.
Huh?
I was laughing at chat.
Laughing at chat.
It's filling up with moos.
Nice, nice.
Super chat from Nick Wicks says, "You rock. Thank you for filling the Bob Ross void in my life." Oh,
wow, that's high praise. Bob Ross is a man. Huh? He was my favorite too. He really, honestly, is kind of what inspired me to want to paint, because I watched him religiously.
He's not my favorite.
He's not your favorite?
No, he never did tanks.
True. Sorry, hon. All right, I'm going to do kind of a cream color on these over here. We'll do pink over here. We'll do some light pink on these snapdragons on this side over here. So I'm going to do these ones in. And they're going to kind of disappear behind that purple spiked one there. So that's about all we're going to see of that. Let's do some more on this one. And these are just, I'm turning my brush so these ones are pointing in and these ones are pointing in this way. So these ones are angled in and down somewhat. And maybe let's make this one a little bit taller so that these are two different heights there. Grab a little bit of white. Add a little bit of white highlights to those. I'm not really 100% happy with what I did down here in this bottom corner, so I may change up the colors of some of these. Maybe add a little bit of orange. Let's use a little bit of burnt sienna with this cadmium orange, cadmium red light. And we'll make some of these down here, this orangey color going off. We'll see. Let's do one over here. I think I want more like a poppy shape on these two. The color will unify it though, so it doesn't have to be the same flower. There we go. Let's use a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium. With that, we'll create some highlights around the edge there. Oops, I was kind of a little bit off there, sorry. Let's do these ones that kind of flower. Just not do daisies. I'm just not feeling it. maybe put one up higher over here so it makes more sense. We'll put one up here. So we've got this movement happening now. Here we go. The nice thing about acrylics is, you know, if we really mess up an area and we just absolutely hate it, we can always go back in and, you know, cover it up. So say, you know, I'm not loving this flower right here. So I'm just going to grab some of this quinacridone, or some of this cadmium.
Sorry, flower.
What?
Sorry, flower.
Sorry, flower. Some of this phthalo green. And maybe some...
You tried.
Yellow oxide. Yeah, I'm just going to paint him out.
But
there he goes. He's gone.
Just can't have you bring in the weak stuff.
Can't have you bring in the weak stuff.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. And add a little bit of white.
Never existed.
Maybe dab in some little, just random something there. There we go. He's gone. See? Easy as that. And this, the nice thing about this kind of, you know, painting too, is that you can do that a lot more easily because you've got all these weird, you know, things happening all over the place. So it doesn't always have to sort of make sense. I'm gonna add some of it over here by these, so it'll look like maybe those are the leaves that go along with those orangey flowers, right? Good. I really like this. I'm liking it. Just never know. I told Mark it could go either way before we started. It's like, this could either be a hot mess or this could be really cool. It could go either way. Since we've been resting the arm, I haven't been able to practice stuff. So it's just been really hard because I can't like do it ahead of time to know exactly what colors and things I want to use. So it's been really, well, kind of a trial by fire live. No pressure. No pressure. Just painting it live, hoping it turns out, especially this kind of painting where it's really, you know, just kind of instinct more than anything that's guiding you. All right, so going with some of the brighter cadmium yellow light here, I'm going to add a little pop of that to some of these, just a little bit right there, and then we can go back over, and if we painted out any of these petals that we want back in, we can paint those back in. But I think we're good. Are you seeing the whole thing now, or is it only part of it? Do I need to be careful?
Let's see. All of it, yeah.
You're seeing all of it? Okay. All right, I'm going to do some of that pink. And maybe make like a peach. So I'm going to use the Cadmium Orange with that Quinacridone Magenta. Create kind of a soft... similar to this color. We'll see. It might be too similar, but we'll do the snapdragons. So they have kind of like these little buds at the top, and then they sort of open to these. What is the shape? They're sort of, I don't know, kind of like triangles almost. So they're sort of top-heavy triangles. It's a little the opposite of these ones. So they kind of taper in towards the flower instead of out. Okay, so there. Grab some white, mix that, and especially on the top they have these kind of things that are overhanging, so I'm going to create these sort of fan shapes at the top of them. And the buds don't really have a whole lot going on, but sort of flattened out some. There we go. And tuck them down in there. All right, I kind of like that. Let me add a little bit of this color over in our zinnias. Brighten those up. Draw the eye back around there. And let's put in our poppies. Now that's about, we've got a couple more of these sort of medium flowers, but we've got these 3 large poppies. So let's go ahead and put those in and then see what else we want to add. So I'm going to use the Cadmium Red Medium. And I'm going to draw in, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. This one's going to be sort of the ones that sort of point upward. So like this, we'll use that one as our shape. Okay, so we're going to do like that and just kind of pull everything else down in to that point right there. The bottom is sort of squared off flat right there. So I'm going to kind of create a flat bottom and overlap a little bit on that flower, right? So we can have a little depth. Let's add a little bit of, now let's use burnt umber. Let's get it nice and dark. Burnt umber with that red, and I think I want to add a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta to brighten it up just slightly. Make it a little bit more of a cherry red color. I'm going to pull from the bottom up with that color to shadow that bottom of the flower a little bit. All right, that's good enough. I think I'm gonna work on this one. So this one we'll do one of these. We'll do this kind of shape right here. So it's kind of, I'm trying to think if I have another poppy that is better. This is a different kind of poppy, but let's do these. Let's do this. Okay, so I'll do like that, but I'll pretend that it's open. So I'm gonna do this. I've got this dark color here, so I'm gonna go from the outside. Just do kind of some of the outside color first. It's got these kind of rounded. There we go. Unusual shape. And then let's do this one really big right here. This is our big old poppy. And I'm going to create these petals. Super chat.
There's some people out there who are rating me on a scale of 1 to 10 on my bell ringing, so.
What are you getting?
I got an 8.5 on the last one. I don't know about this one. This super chat is from Deborah Swan. And she says, I love your channel. May God bless you and keep you and your family safe.
Oh, thank you, Deborah.
Thank you so much, Deborah.
Sweet.
Appreciate it.
Yes, we do. We really do. We love it. I was just telling one of my friends the other day that this has been one of the biggest blessings. I've been, I think, the most happy and contented, and just getting to work with Mark, which, you know, we've always kind of done our own things work-wise, you know. So getting to have him working with me and just all of it, it's just been the biggest blessing. I really, really love it. And getting to share it with you all and having people that are enjoying it with us, along with us. Not sitting in my studio alone, painting by myself anymore. It's a whole different experience for sure. It's so much fun. So much fun. All right, gonna grab some of that brown, and I'm gonna just add some dark, blend it into that kind of wet paint there a little bit. Add a little bit of dark coming up out of that center. Don't worry about it if it's kind of blotchy, that's okay. We'll maybe define a couple of these petals a little bit. We're kind of toning it down so it's not so like in your face red everywhere. And then I'm going to grab some of that purple. Mix that with the burnt umber. This will be our black. And we'll dip that into the center right there. And using the colors that we've already used in other places will really unify it. It's just, you know, it looks black to the eye, but it's obviously not, you know. But it's a really good way of creating, you know, just another color story, another way of kind of bringing your whole painting together without, you know, adding a separate color like black that we haven't used anywhere else. So that's really pretty. And I think I'm going to use this color maybe to create some like burgundy. Let's use it and create some little burgundy something maybe over here. Some little burgundy things happening over here. Am I off camera? No. Good. Okay.
I got you zoomed like all the way out.
Okay, great.
I mean, they can see the top of your head and
my lap.
You said earlier in the video, but is this canvas available in your Amazon link?
Not this exact one, but one the same size is.
Okay.
It's one of their flat panels that was available.
Right.
I wasn't able to find the exact same size in the thicker canvas.
Okay, so down below the video, there's like see more. I think it says you can click on that and then expands, and you can see the link to the Amazon store, the list of all the paints being used.
Yeah, there's like a little, either an arrow like down or see more, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you got all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have all of the stuff, all the brushes and all the paints that I'm using down in my Amazon store. The palette paper even, you know, everything that I use pretty much, even the paper towels. So it's all in there.
What about the nail polish?
Not the nail polish, no. That's, we're working on that.
We're working on that.
I'm going to use this, I mixed up some Quinacridone Magenta with the burnt sienna, and I'm going to use that with this over these burgundy flowers. And maybe still too dark to really see much of anything. But let's do like a little bud too up here somewhere. I always forget to do like the little buds, you know, and those are really important because that kind of creates a little bit more of a realism, you know. Know what I mean, Mark?
Know what you mean? This bud's for you.
Oh, God. No. No, just no.
No?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe new sponsors, you never know.
I'm going to add a little bit of this unbleached titanium and a little bit of the yellow. I'm just doing it on the corner of my brush here, and I'm just going to, that's the Indian yellow color. I'm going to add that to the centers of these. And I might not leave those as dark, but we'll see. We'll see what we want to do. We might want to have some flowers that are really dark. You know, he's got some, you know, that are really, really dark, and that can add like a lot of good contrast and interest, you know, so I may just decide. I tend to like want everything to be bright. That's just my natural style, but it really does help to have some really dark elements in there. Gives good contrast. So I'm going to use that. Should tap through that corner of the brush. And like I said, anytime that you're having difficulty, switch to a smaller brush. Use a brush with a smaller tip if you are having trouble getting these smaller dots the way you want them to be. You know, I'm just doing it because I'm lazy and I don't want to clean out my brush and get new color. But losing my voice today. All right. We're getting there. I'm really liking it so far. So I think I want to put maybe some highlights on my poppies. So one thing you want to, I'm trying to get that color out of there. It doesn't want to come out. Actually, let me get the bigger filbert for this. I'm back to the 6 now. I'm going to grab that red, but I'm going to also grab some of that Cadmium Red Light. And having like a more orangey or yellow tone tone in your highlights, especially when you're doing reds, will help, you know, it from turning pink, which we may, you know, we might not normally want to see on a red flower like this. So I'm going to grab that Cadmium Red Light and add the white to that. And that will, and I might even just add the cadmium, or the Unbleached Titanium instead of the titanium white, because it'll be a warmer white already. It has those yellow tones already in it. I really am losing my voice today. I don't know what's going on. And I'm going to lightly, just very lightly, skim this along some of these edges of my poppy where I thought, you know, maybe the light's hitting it. Doesn't have to be everywhere. We do a little bit right here. I'm just kind of setting it down and lifting. Not really dragging it a whole lot. I'm just sort of sitting it down and skimming it just slightly. Let's do a little bit on here. Maybe this one poking up at us right there. And okay, that's it. I'm not going to overdo it. You know me, I want to go in for the detail, but this is about just kind of very basic. You know, look at your pictures, see where these brightest little highlights are happening, and just do that. Don't focus on, you know, the little blending it in or any of that. We don't have to blend it in this. We can just kind of do a little dab and move on, even if we want to. A
little dab will do you.
A little dab will do you. Yep. And then I'm going to use yellow, cadmium yellow light and a little bit of that phthalo green. Maybe add a little bit of yellow oxide just so that it's not so bright. And use that in the centers of those. Dab that in right in the centers of those. Those are really pretty. I love those. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's put some color in here. So these will be the garden poppies. We'll make these those kind of garden poppies that have those yellowish centers. So we'll put this green in first. Oh, I'm off camera there. Just right there. And then this one's going to have a little bit down here. Right, and then we'll grab the, let's see what colors. Yeah, so then the yellow is going to go around the outside of them. So we'll grab that Cadmium Yellow Medium. And a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium. That'll tone it down and brighten it up a little bit at the same time. Kind of tones it down with the more earthy white. And dab, dab, dab all the way around that green. Dab, dab, dab. I don't know, this brush is a little bit too big, but I'm making it work. Okay. Here, we'll do this one. Zoom in. I don't think so. There we go. And there's one down here. Just using that edge of my brush. You know, if you're having trouble, just use a smaller brush. Okay. And then I think I'm going to use a little bit of the phthalo green, just a little bit darker, maybe not quite that dark. Add a little bit of that yellow to it. A little bit darker version of the, yeah, there we go. Just put it on the bottom edge a little bit. Darken up that center just a little bit. Okay. All right, we can zoom out now. Let's use a little bit of that color down here. What do the poppy leaves look like? Poppy leaves look, they're kind of different. Yeah, they kind of have these little jaggedy. So let's make some poppy leaves down here. almost look like lettuce or something. That's way bright. I need to tone it down. Maybe grab a little bit of brown. That's that color that I was using for the center of the... A little bit is okay, but in big quantities it's going to kind of take over. So we're going to just tone it down with the brown. Bring it in behind the... Not sure I want to put anything over here. I kind of like that it's sort of comes down like that. Let me take out my chalk and see what it looks like. Let me just decide I like it as is. And this is a good opportunity to kind of clean up the chalk around the canvas and other places too. Especially where it's dry. You don't want to do this where over wet paint, but it comes right off if it's dry. And be careful around that red. And I'm just using regular school chalk. You could use pastel or watercolor pencil or anything that's kind of water soluble. You don't want to use graphite pencil because that will show up unless you want that to be part of your design. I mean, no rule, you know, if you like it showing, you can leave it, but if you don't want it to show, I wouldn't use graphite underneath your painting because it can even show through your colors. It's really hard to cover. Okay. I don't know, what do you think, hon?
I think it looks pretty cool, actually.
Maybe just, yeah, I don't really, I don't know, let's do some white. I think maybe just some like little itty bitty white flowers here and there. Maybe that'll, and I'm going to use my flat, number 2 flat, long flat for that. We use some of that unbleached titanium and white, and yeah, just do some little white random little things happening. I don't know what they are. They're these little, what are these? I don't know. What? Well, they're not baby's breath. I don't know. They're kind of like a little bit bigger than that because baby's breath are kind of real tight and close together.
Toddler's breath?
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, people are starting to chant splatter.
Splatter, splatter. I love it. Yeah, we do need to splatter, don't we? This is definitely calls for some splattering. Okay, I think that's good. I don't want to overdo that. White. Maybe want to add a little bit of this purple somewhere. So let's do some little asters. Do the purple, mix that with that white. And we'll do some little aster down here. Do those little teeny tiny like purpley flowers. They look really good against that yellow, so I'm just kind of targeting that yellow area there for a little. Maybe put some up here by this yellow. They're chanting splatter like that. They know me so well. This one's definitely calling for the splatter. And I think they're missing out because we haven't done splatter in a few weeks, so it's been going through withdrawals like I am. Grab the yellow, do some little yellow centers in those little dealies there. Maybe some little yellow centers in the centers of some of these white ones. Okay. I think I want to add a little bit more. Let's do the orange and the Indian yellow here on these daisies. I feel like they're not quite where I want them to be. There we go. Let's add a little bit of that color to the centers of these. Now this is where I just kind of sit back and look at my painting for a while. Usually, you know, I'll set it up somewhere and kind of look at it and say, you know, I don't have the luxury of that obviously today because we've got, you don't want to sit here and watch me look at something, but you know, that is one of the main things that I do on a painting like this when I get to this stage, especially if I don't have like a photograph that I'm looking at in, you know, per se, that I can, you know, easily pick out things that I need to add or, you know, change. So just going to kind of look at it and decide if there's any obvious things missing. We'll add a little bit of stems to these little guys. I'm just using the edge of my brush here to kind of add. I've got phthalo green and white here. Maybe add a little bit of that. Grab some teal. Add a little bit of that to these. Still feel like these are not quite what I want them to be looking like. I don't know. I think we're good. What do you think? Good? Close enough? Let me get my
like, are you really asking me?
Well, I don't know. There's nobody else here to ask, so. Let's use white. We use white.
So,
maybe a little bit of yellow.
Editor's note.
Yes.
You can stop now with your painting if you're doing this, if you don't want to do splatters.
Yes. Be sure you let it dry completely before you do the splatterings. That's one thing that somebody was saying the other day, that they kind of messed theirs up because they splattered it, and then when they went to wipe off the splatters, it took the paint off. So, yeah, make sure that you do wait for it to be dry.
But if you don't want splatters, don't splatter.
No.
If you want splatter, splatter it.
It's your painting.
That's right.
You get to make the rules.
That's all that matter if you want to splatter.
You've been watching too much Chef John.
I need to come up with some better ones, though.
You were the Picasso of your something. I don't know what rhymes with Picasso.
Meat lasso.
Huh?
Meat lasso.
I don't know.
We'll think of something.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do some purple. I did some lighter, and then I'm going to do some darker here. So I'm going to use the purple and the brown together. And you always want to add a lot of water. If you're having trouble splattering, that's one of the things that, you know, you might have issues with. If it's not thin enough, it won't come off the brush. I use a either stiff bristled fan brush or toothbrush or something like that. And then it also can help to just kind of touch it once on a paper towel to make sure you don't have any real drippy drips on it, and then go to town. And I just hold it really firmly with one hand and tap with the other. And put, tap. Whoop. And I'm holding it fairly close to the canvas. I'm only about, 3 inches away or so. So, and that will kind of help you control where they're going. If you hold it way high up, it's just going to go kind of everywhere and not be as focused. So, if you want to kind of direct where it goes, just hold it real close to where you want it and just tap real hard with one hand. And you can get it to kind of go where you want it to go. If you're holding it with a toothbrush, you can hold it straight down and use your thumb and flick it that way. All right, I like this. This may be one of my favorite flower ones we've done. May have to do a whole series of these. If you've got questions for me, you can post those in the comments. And I think we're going to start doing maybe once a month on Tuesday nights, since we're not doing our Tuesday night shows. Right now we're taking a break, to let my arm heal and all. But we still kind of want to interact with you guys. So I thought maybe what we could do is just do like a question and answer type show. So if you've got questions that you want me to answer for that, you can post those in the comments of this video. And then Tuesday night, this Tuesday night, we're doing our Patreon video. So it'll be our Patreon only show on Tuesday night this week. And then, but the next Tuesday night, we'll probably do our questions. We'll take the questions from this one. If you're watching in 2020, it's too late. So sorry. Actually, I want to add just a pop of this little really bright phthalo blue and turquoise color. Now that I'm looking at my painting, I'm seeing I just want a little bit of this blue color, so I'm just going to add it in a couple of places. Just little dabs. Maybe just to kind of, yeah, okay. I'm going to call that good. We'll stop right there.
I think we should zoom in, and you should, because I can't pan it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start at one side of the thing, and we'll just kind of zoom in so people can see.
See all the detail.
Right. Just kind of move it around so they can see.
There's the poppy. There's our zinnia. There's a little burgundy flowers. We did leave them dark, so I think I like them dark like that. It adds a real good contrast. These almost look like mini irises or something. I could have made those a little bit bigger, maybe. There's our leaf. Our other poppy. You can take screenshots if you're wanting to do this and, get it closer to mine. Copy it a little bit closer. There we go. Good idea, hun.
So and
I'm going to go ahead and sign it. This is my Sakura Pigma FB. This is also down in my Amazon store for purchase. So, and the store purchases help our channel. So, anything you buy on Amazon through the links get credited to our store. We get a small percentage, but every little bit helps. All right, and there's that.
So you mentioned Patreon.
Yes.
So what is Patreon?
Yes, I have Patreon. The traceable for this will be on Patreon. So if you do want to, have it the exact kind of layout that I did here, that'll be available. They're $1 a month for all the traceables. So that includes from back to February of last year. So we've been on Patreon for a whole year. So you got a whole year of traceables and any new ones for $1 a month for access to all of those. And there's also a $5 level if you want to watch the bonus video on Tuesday night. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be voting in my $10 level group. They get to pick what we do in our bonus videos. So I have a Facebook group that's just for the $10 level folks. And we also do weekly live chats with them that's like challenges and things like that. Right now we're talking about values, and we painted or we kind of drew some different colored pears on Monday last week. So I don't know, we do kind of weird stuff in there, and different stuff that we do that we don't do on, it's exclusive stuff in that group.
Right. And the link's down below.
Yes, the link's down below. It's Angela fine art on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/AngelaFineArt.
All one word.
All one word. Yep. Patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. And that's Patreon. Patreon. So anyhow, yeah, hopefully you guys can join us on Tuesday night. If you're part of that $5 level, be looking for that link. And we'll be painting something fun. I'm not exactly sure what. But, oh, yeah, and if you want a Stickman shirt, you can also order those from the Teespring store. What? Oh, you want to do... Okay, Mark's pointing at a Stickman shirt. I thought he was telling me to do that. All right, so they want Stickman. All right, it's been a while.
Stickman. It's been weeks.
I know, it has been. Sorry.
Yay, Stickman.
We'll give him some red poppies. How's that? In his flower garden. He's got a lot of flowers down here.
I can't believe you have a bunch of flowers on your show.
I know, it's so weird.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah, we missed the dog and we missed the eyes. So he doesn't have any eyes, sorry. But
yeah, I wanted to do a cyclops on him, but
didn't happen.
No.
All right, I'm not going to let that be the last thing they see.
We're not ending on that.
No. All right, thanks guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.